Lake Martin's in the middle of a heat wave as I film this, but what does this mean to real estate sales? Hang on, I'll let you know the numbers, and at the very end, I'll give you some analysis to try to kind of point to where I think we're heading. But really quick, please take a second and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's the best way that you'll get notified as soon as I do these type of videos. So how did the monthly waterfront home sales look? Again, this is the entire lake, all agents, all brokerages reporting to the Lake Martin MLS. In May, we see it was down compared to the prior year about 33%. In June, it was up about 18% compared to 22. And then in July, monthly home sales were 50% down when compared to monthly home sales in 2022. So how does this look year to date? Well, that really is where you see the discrepancy start to kind of shake out. So far this year through the end of July, we've sold 144 homes, waterfront homes on the MLS. Now, compare that to 2022 when in the same time period, 177 homes were sold. And so that means we're down about 19% compared to the prior year. And if you say, okay, what's our 5-year average? That's 205 home sales. And so we're down about 30% compared to our 5-year average. Pretty big number, I think, and it's continuation of the trend that we've seen all year long. But as always, sales aren't the only thing to look at. What about inventory? The story has been for a long time, well, of course we don't have the sales because we don't have the things to sell. Inventory is the problem. Not really. If you look at it, if you compare year to year, in June we had 25% greater inventory than we did last year. In July we had about 12% greater inventory, number of homes sold, number of homes for sale than we did last year. Now, granted, it's still 33% below our 5-year average. However, the trend is that inventory is going up. And if you look back like in the last at least 12 months, month to month, we've had more homes for sale and sold fewer homes. And that's the trend. And so that's one of the things that lead me to say the third part of this video is where I'm going to give you some analysis. And I'm going to try to kind of connect the dots there. But first, let's go to lots. So what about the waterfront lot market? In previous reports, I've thought that the waterfront lots are lagging a little bit in the market cycle. But here we see that so far this year, we've had 33 waterfront lots sold. That's all agents, all brokerages, entire MLS, compared to 55 this time last year through the end of July. So waterfront lot sales are down about 40%, even though the inventory, about 61 lots were for sale in July on the same time periods for 22 and 23. So inventory is the same, but sales are down. So what does this all mean? I think that we're at an interesting part in our market, and we're in a kind of an interesting point in the summer because we're through July, and yeah, we still have August and September to go. Not all the hay is in the barn, but a good amount of hay is in the barn. And so I think it just kind of confirms what we've been talking about on this channel for a while now. And that is, I think the evidence is there that the seller's market is over. I can point to some examples of houses that get multiple offers, yes. But by and large, most of the houses that are coming on the market are not getting multiple offers and not kind of seller's market activity. As a matter of fact, I can think of a couple of very specific examples where the exact same house is for sale this year in 23 as it was in 22. Several examples of this. So if you would think, well, we're still in a seller's market, then those houses are going to sell for more than they sold for last year, right? I'm looking at 3 or 4 examples that I can think of. None have yet. I can't find a single example of a house that sold for more this year than it did last year. However, in 22 and 21, 2019, I can find several examples of that. So that's point number one, is I don't see the numbers that I'm showing you on this board and my gut and what I'm seeing out in the real world are all matching up. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing is I'm also seeing a lot of price drops. It's not a bad thing. It's just they're reacting to the market. We're seeing people come on the market with a higher price. The market tests it out, the buyers say, no thanks, and we're seeing price drops. That's normal, but it's not a normal part of a seller's market, so you need to think about that. I also have had people ask me directly, hey, they've seen a couple of headlines that say, hey, prices are up at Lake Martin in 2023. Prices are up. I mean, you know, there it is, prices are up. I don't think so. I think you have to dig down a little bit into those headlines and see what exactly are they measuring. And the particular headlines that I'm thinking about, they run on a 12-month average, a rolling 12-month average of prices, which I think is a really good metric. I don't do it. I probably should. I'd have to go backwards, and I've been doing this since 2007, so I have quite a few numbers to recrank, but I think that's a good metric. However, if you're going to look at a 12-month rolling average, then you need to know, obviously we're 7 months into this year, so that means 5 months are on the prior year of 22, in which I did think we had a price increase in 22 of 18%. So some of that increase, I think you're seeing it in the 12-month rolling average. So you're not really talking about what's going on today when you're looking at a 12-month average. You're looking at the whole year, which I think is a great metric when looked at, if you're going to look at it every single month. The problem comes in, like anything in statistics, when we cherry pick what stat we're going to use month to month to month, because we feel like, okay, this is the story I want to paint, I'm just going to kind of cherry pick some numbers. That's why I try, and I've been doing this since '07, not every single month, but a lot of months, to try and say, okay, let's look at home sales, let's look at homes for sale, lots sales, and because I'm convinced that if you watch the number of units for sale as compared to the prior year, that's going to tell you the direction of the market. So I look at the same stats every month or every time I do one of these things, and that's how I'm drawing my conclusions. I let the data go where it goes, but I do want to make sure it matches my gut and what I'm seeing on the actual ground of I guess the lake of Lake Martin, and they're all three matching up. And that is, I don't think the bottom's going to fall out. I don't think we're heading to some big catastrophe, right? I just think we're going to have a year probably of very little, if any, real estate appreciation on Lake Martin for waterfront homes because of the data that I'm seeing. Could be wrong. The year's not over. I don't know. I'll see where it goes. And that's why if you're a seller, or not even, I won't say that like you're a seller. That sounds kind of crazy. If you're somebody that owns waterfront property and you're thinking, how is this going to affect me? I've talked to 3 different owners in the past 3 weeks that they said, hey John, we don't want to sell, anytime soon. We just kind of wonder what's going on and what if we sold today, what it would sell for, because they're doing it for either estate planning or they want to, they're thinking about just their overall assets, and that's fine. I do this for free, no obligation. Obviously, I'd love to sell the house, but this is a service that I do for you in case you're curious as to what this shift in the market might mean for you and your property, whether it's a lot or a condo or a house, whatever. I'm happy to help. Also, buyers. Some interesting things going on with buyers out there. Hey, I'm all for a for sale by owner, right? If they can sell their home or lot or condo or whatever, and they do it, and sometimes they get hyper focused on saving the commission, and I get that, But I am seeing a few FSBOs that are putting some pretty crazy prices out there because they haven't figured out that the market is in a shift. I'm seeing some buyers online, Facebook, wherever, kind of chase those FSBOs and get all over them and say, oh, I want to see your house. I'm not sure that those buyers have realized that the market is in a shift. So my message to buyers is, I would be glad to help you on the buying side. My name is John Coley with Lake Martin Voice Realty, and I would love to help you see how the market shift could help you and what your goals are for the lake.